So it's another beautiful day on the Battle for Azeroth beta, and today we're taking a look at my top 5 ranged specs going into Battle for Azeroth. And a friendly reminder, these are all my personal opinions, this is in no way a list of the 5 best ranged specs, these are the 5 ranged specs I've had the most fun with so far in Battle for Azeroth. However, if you aren't going to do extremely high keys or early mythic progression, it won't matter that much. Play what you enjoy. If you're doing your weekly 10s, normal or heroic raids, pretty much any classes or specs will cut it. And I'm doing this list in no particular order, so let's start out with the Elemental Shaman. I've always had a weak spot for shamans in general. Elemental due to the fact that you hurl lightning and fire at your enemies, cause earthquakes and volcanoes to erupt, and pretty much cool stuff like that. They are very visually pleasing and so much fun to play. Their rotation is pretty fast paced and it features a lot of procs, which I enjoy. Spamming lightning bolt and weaving in those tasty instant lava bursts, watching those elemental overload procs fly off and then finish it all with a nasty earthshock crit is pretty damn satisfying. And going over to the AoE side, they're still crazy. Watching your chain lightning cover a pack of mobs like a spiderweb is so much fun. I mean, who doesn't like that? They still do solid single target damage, but as always, AoE is where they really shine, and a few fights in the upcoming raid have a lot of cleave or AoE like Mother, Mithrax and Zul to mention a few. They also bring a lot of utility for any and all dungeons. They've got a ranged AoE stun at all time now that Capacitor Totem is baseline, AoE slows with Earthbind Totem, they have Cleanse Spirit and Purge, and even Thunderstorm if knockbacks are needed. On top of this, there's Hex for CC and Tremor Totem to make life easier now that a lot of dungeons have fear mechanics in them. Moving on! The Demonology Warlock. I mean, come on, like any ranged list would be complete without Demonology. So to say that they've been reworked a bit from Legion is the understatement of a century. Legion demo and BFA demo have two things in common, being warlocks and having demons. And I'm not sure where to begin really, they're unlike any ranged I've played, at least that I can remember. And the playstyle is nothing short of amazing, it's just great fun and everything just works so well. And everything ties in so well with at least my idea of a Demonology Warlock. And as I said in my demo Warlock video, this is what a demo lock should have always been. It's just heavily featuring your demons and nothing else. So this time around, as I said, it's all about your demons. You have a talent that spawns random demons, or you can open a portal to spawn loads of random demons. You have an army of wild imps, which you can pretty much throw at your enemies to make them explode. And anytime an imp despawns or explode, you have a chance to get instant cast demon balls, so you can spawn even more demons and imps. You even have a demon that you can spawn that extends the duration of all your demons, just so you can have a massive army of monsters up even longer. But apart from just looking amazing, it's also a crazy amount of fun to play. There's so much you can do with this spec, and a lot of different ways you can play it depending on talents. To the core, it's just Shadow Bolt and Hand of Gul'dan spam, but you weave in instant cast demon bolts and Dreadstalkers and spawn a few extra big demons every now and then. You can talent into Power Siphon to be able to sacrifice your imps to get more instant cast demon bolts, or you can use talents like Nether Portal that tears open a portal to the Twisting Nether, and every time you spend Soul Shard, various demons will crawl out of it. Even Prince Malchezaar might pop in to say hello. They do solid single target damage and a surprising amount of AoE damage, and can talent into even more AoE if a fight requires it. They have amazing survivability, and you will always need at least 3 warlocks for raiding. One for summoning a portal, one for health stones, and one that pretends it didn't hear you when you asked for either of those things. They also bring Soul Stones and Demonic Gateway, which is a must-have for raiding. And taking a look at the dungeon side of things, any Warlock will be a strong choice due to Soul Stone, Gateway, and Health Stones. On top of this, Warlocks also have Shadow Fury baseline now, so they always have an AoE stun. But Demonology also have very strong burst AoE potential with Bile Scourge Bomber or Demonic Strength and the new Implode ability. Being able to front load a lot of their AoE and then switching over to focused single target makes them a great contender for Mythic Plus. All in all, it's hard to explain why they are so much fun, but I think it's the entire Demonology experience that makes it so. It's not just the rotation, the talents, the massive demonic army, or the visuals. It's all of those things combined. And then there's Beast Mastery, the spec that does great damage all the while people are screaming, "Oh my god, Beast Mastery is stupid." I'm a bit biased, my love for Beast Mastery started in the Burning Crusade, where all we did was spam a macro and make sure to have some mana potions. Yes, back then we didn't have focus, we had mana. They play pretty much exactly like they do in Legion, but they removed or renamed some spells, like Dire Beast is a talent now, and Barbed Shot is pretty much what Dire Beast was in Legion. I just happen to enjoy that it kind of feels like you're a melee spec but you're ranged. Everything is instant, so no need to pre-plan your movement, just jump around in a circle and spam your stuff. And as everyone have or will point out, BM is not the most complex thing to play. But it doesn't have to be. I mean, I'd say Feral is complex and I freaking hate Feral. But the rotation as it is in BFA is just plain and fun. Kill command for them big hits, Cobra Shot as a filler, and Barbed Shot as your RNG proc and gainer. You can talent into more cleaver AoE, or you can focus a bit more on your pet, or even get an additional pet, kinda like Hati in Legion, and you can still piss off your tanks with Barrage. But we've also been given a bit more flavor with the new pet system, making pets a bit more streamlined, but also a bit more impactful through various cooldowns, passives, the free pet schools, and stuff like that. And their single target damage is really solid, and AoE seems just fine, but the fact that their mobility is bar none is what makes them valuable. If they are on par with any ranged DPS but suffers no downtime while moving, why wouldn't you bring one? It also makes them the prime candidates for any so-called bitch duties. Need to grab something? Ask the BM Hunter. And going into dungeons, they're looking even better. Massive utility, root slows, incaps, combat res, bloodlust, and removing enrage effects. The latter being a topic on its own, but it works on the raging affix in Mythic Plus. Their defensive capabilities have been improved as well with the new pet passives and cooldowns, like a new damage reduction through survival of the fittest and a huge amount of leech through Predator's Thirst. And not to mention the fact that Misdirect is still really good for dungeons with the threat nerf to tanks in BFA. And yeah, a hunter will always be viable and valued for both raiding and dungeons. Tie this in with being a whole lot of fun to play and you got yourself a solid choice for BFA, my friends. Moving on, we have the Frost Mage. Ah yes, procs upon procs. I played my Frost Mage alt quite a lot in the end of Legion and ended up really enjoying how they played. The constant Ice Lance procs weaved in with a few flurries and frost bolts, and going into Legion, not a whole lot has changed. The gameplay is pretty much the same as it's been in Legion, just some minor reworks and a few tweaks here and there. They have a fairly fast pace for being ranged due to the fact that they're heavily proc based in the rotation, which is what I really like about them. Having a few slow casts like Frostbolt and Glacial Spikes, weaving in instancy between them, and the fact that those instant does an absolute insane amount of damage just makes it so much better. Watching those Ice Lance crits is pretty damn satisfying. And going into BFA, they're looking pretty damn solid for both raiding and dungeons. Raiding mostly due to having great survivability and mobility on top of that crazy single target damage, and dungeons due to all the utility they bring. They do really good AoE damage, and their ability to slow mobs is bar none. With the Frigid Wind talent, you have a 65% slow on everything, which is pretty crazy for dungeons. It enables your party to do some crazy pulls. It makes kiting a whole lot easier, which will be mandatory for higher keys. And even if you aren't doing super high keys, being able to kite when stuff is going south is still invaluable. And on top of this, they also have Spell Steal, Remove Curse, Polymorph, Time Warp, and the brand new-ish Arcane Intellect, which increases everyone's intellect by 10%. And all of these are very good in dungeons, and Arcane Intellect alone makes them a must-have for raiding. Moving on, the last one. So here we have Marksmanship Hunter. Yeah, that's right, Hunters get 2 specs in this list. Again, personal opinion. So anyways, Marksman going into BFA is pretty much nothing like in Legion. No more annoying vulnerable windows and no more standing still. That's right, Marksmen can move while DPSing once again. Their rotation feels smooth and fluid while not being as timing based as it was in Legion. Rather, this time around there's no timing. Spend focus with arcane and aim shot, generate with rapid fire and steady shot. Nice and simple. They've added in the trickshot talent as a baseline passive, so AoEing feels solid as well, granted not as brokenly overpowered as in Legion with the marked shot spam, but still good. Getting massive aimed shot crits to ricochet between target is pretty damn satisfying, and having steady shot as a gainer again is just awesome for me. Hated having an instant cast as a generator, it just makes more sense to me to build up focus with a semi-long cast and spending it with instant and or longer cast that hits like a truck. They have very good single target DPS, and they can dish out an insane amount of burst AoE if they need to with trickshot, explosive shot, and barrage, making them a strong contender for many fights in Uldir. And again, being ranged with high mobility is great for raiding. It makes any encounter a hell of a lot easier. As I said before, it allows the hunter to get the so-called bitch duty of grabbing stuff or doing otherwise annoying stuff, which I personally enjoy. Feels good to be that guy. And their defensive toolkit has been increased as well with the new pet system, even though Marksman Hunter will most likely play without a pet due to Lone Wolf. They still get the new pet defensive survival of the fittest even if you don't have any pet out. And they look really strong for dungeons as well. Having bursty on-demand AoE and good sustained AoE is key to any dungeons, especially higher keys. And combine that with all your roots, slows, knockbacks, and misdirect, pet buffs and cooldowns, the high mobility which makes your overall uptime on any given pack or mob a lot higher. It just makes them a natural choice for dungeons. And they also have feign death. Did I mention that? When everyone is wiping, you can just feign death and save yourself that nasty 2 gold repair build. I mean, enough said. And that's pretty much it for my top 5 ranged specs going into BFA. As I've mentioned time and time again, this is by no means a list telling you what specs are the best. Just the ones I found the most fun, which I think is a very important aspect in a game. So, what's your favorite range specs going into BFA? Let me know in the comments below. I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you have any questions at all, make sure to hit me up in the comments below. I try to answer any and all questions as well as I can. As always, if you like these kind of videos, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave me a like, and ring that notification bell and switch it to all. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.